All right, good morning. I'm here with Commissioner Garcia, Director of our Harris County Toll Road Authority, Roberto Trevino, the Director of our Analyst Office, Katie Short, and other folks. And I want to thank the Commissioner for taking an interest in this issue. Commissioner, we had heard the rumors that this was an issue, and you were the one that dug in and said, let's get the numbers and see how it's impacting our county. And of course, Director Trevino has been cracking down on this issue already. And certainly he'll be able to answer questions about that. And Director Short is the one that whose team put together the report, the assessment that we're now sharing with the public. Today, we're here to share disturbing proof about the negative consequences of fake paper tags here in Harris County. We've known all along that this was a threat, and now we have the receipts as to the impact that the fake paper plates are having, not just on the county budget, but on our public safety as well. And it's a call to action for all of us, particularly the state legislature, and also an update on what we're doing locally to tackle this challenge. As you guys are aware, a lack of state regulation made it too easy for anyone here, really around the state, to register as a car dealer and to print as many paper tags as they wanted to. That in turn led to folks in the black market using those paper tags to go commit crimes, try to avoid the police. They would register their cars under fake names sometimes. They would register their crimes under fake addresses and then go commit crimes, avoid tolls, try to outrun a robbery, for example. It was a giant loophole that was contributing to crime in our community. And of course, with the gun violence epidemic, the Commissioner and I and all of us are laser focused on looking at every angle of what's leading to crime, and this is one of them. The good news is some work has been done on this. The state passed a law that took effect this past February that closes some of the loopholes. Not all of them, but some of the loopholes. The state DMV has taken some action to crack down on this. And locally, we're working on it as well. So the loopholes are beginning to close. For example, they require dealers to set a limit on how many paper tags they can print. Of course, there's not a limit on how many dealerships a person can create. There's some fingerprints requirement, and locally we're very proud of our Tag You're It enforcement initiative, which we launched several months ago, and under Director Trevino's leadership, we've already seen several arrests coming out of that, and several stories of being able to take dangerous folks off of the roads and folks who are taking advantage of the system. The bad news is the clear picture we have now of how much this has hurt Harris County. According to the analysis we're releasing today, over the past 6 years, the number of police incidents involving fake tags increased 306%. That's a skyrocketing increase. From 1,705 in fiscal year 2016 to almost 7,000 fiscal year 2021. Making matters worse, these paper tags, stole millions of dollars that Harris County could have used to serve its constituents. They may have accounted for more than $80 million in lost revenue for Harris County in terms of toll road revenue, in terms of new title and registration renewal fees, dollars that could have been used for vital county programs like public health, public safety. So it's good to see there are some policy options included in this report for Commissioner's Court to consider. We of course are moving forward with our program, and the long and short of it is we're going to do everything we can locally. We're doing it. We're going to continue looking at options, but a local solution is not going to solve a statewide problem. And so the key message here is a local solution is not enough. We need statewide support over and above what has already been done to solve this statewide problem. We need statewide reform of the temporary tag loopholes. We need a solution to a system that's been broken. We need a solution that puts safety, number one, over and above automotive sales. So we look forward to seeing what solutions are proposed here in the next legislative session. In the meantime, we're going to continue to advocate. We now have the numbers, and we're going to continue doing our work locally to stop the bleeding, even though we can't control the broader systemic issue. So I'm going to repeat my remarks briefly in Spanish, and then we'll take some questions and let the other folks also make any comments if you guys wish. Estamos aquí para compartir pruebas preocupantes alrededor del tema de las placas de papel, placas de automóvil falsas. Este es un tema que el comisionado García empezó a detallar hace varios meses. Sabíamos que era un problema, pero no conocíamos realmente cuánto impacto estaba teniendo este tema. Ya hoy día lo sabemos. Como todos saben, una falta de regulación a nivel estatal hace que sea muy fácil para cualquier vendedor de autos producir estas placas de papel falsas, imprimir cuantas placas quieran, inclusive crear cuantos concesionarios ellos quieran. Eso sí, significa que ha habido un mercado clandestino de placas falsas y muchos criminales que se ocultan tras de esa placa falsa para cometer el crimen, escapar una escena de robo, evadir la policía. En un momento en el cual estamos viendo tanta violencia armada y estamos atacando todos los aspectos de esta violencia armada, el tema de las placas clandestinas, las placas de papel, placas falsas, es un tema más que tenemos que abordar. Había un vacío legal gigante en esa industria. Y el Estado, en la legislatura, la sesión legislativa del año antepasado, trabajó en cerrar ese vacío legal. Pero lo que hemos visto es que no ha sido suficiente. Es un paso importante, pero no ha sido suficiente. Localmente estamos haciendo todo lo posible. Establecimos el año pasado un programa, Tag Your It. Es el programa a través de nuestra autoridad de carreteras del condado Harris, el Toll Road Authority, el cual se encarga de identificar automóviles que van por la carretera con estos licencias falsas y detenerlos. Hemos arrestado varios criminales bajo ese programa. Pero el tema es que no lo podemos controlar todo nosotros aquí a nivel local. Ya hemos recibido hoy día claramente los números, el impacto en este reporte que ha tenido el tema de las placas falsas y las placas de papel que se han permitido bajo este vacío legal que todavía existe. De acuerdo al análisis, en los últimos 6 años, el número de incidentes policías que involucraron las placas falsas incrementó un 306%, de 1,700 en el 2016 a casi 7,000 en el 2021. Especialmente han sido crímenes como exceso de velocidad, robo con fractura y el uso ilegal de una placa de comprador vencida. Además, aparte de los crímenes que se han cometido usando esas placas falsas, nos ha costado mucho a nosotros como gobierno local, como comunidad del condado Harris. Se estima, de acuerdo a este reporte, este análisis, que hasta $80 millones fueron perdidos porque cuando se registra algo bajo esas placas falsas, no tienen que pagar los mismos ingresos, las mismas tarifas para registrar el título, para registrar el automóvil. Entonces, esos son fondos que no vamos a poder recaudar, pero que adelante tenemos que darnos cuenta que son fondos que podíamos utilizar para la salud pública, la seguridad pública, por ejemplo. Entonces, el reporte incluye también un par de recomendaciones para el condado, vamos a considerarlas. Nosotros ya estamos trabajando a nivel local para abordar este tema, pero también estamos aquí para abogar y crear conciencia en la comunidad, que este es un tema estatal, que no podemos atacar solamente a nivel local. Me alegra que los legisladores ya están hablando acerca de atacar este tema nuevamente. Todavía existen vacíos legales y tienen que ser atacados a nivel estatal en la legislatura. Entonces, invitamos a que los legisladores, el gobernador, trabajen en este tema ahorita que se reúna el gobierno estatal el próximo año, y por mientras nosotros seguiremos trabajando por capturar a las personas que estén utilizando estas licencias falsas para cometer crímenes. Thank you again, Commissioner. I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge, and good morning. And I, too, want to begin by thanking Director Short and her team for their phenomenal work on pulling the information together and being relentless with the State Department of Motor Vehicles, who was a little hesitant to give us the information that we needed to really understand the magnitude of the impact of this report. And Director Trevino, I want to thank you for your leadership in ensuring that whatever can be done is being done, and is being done in a very contemporary way to address this particular issue. And obviously, folks, in terms of when we identify issues in how government works or fails to work, it does require us to analyze and study and diagnose what the situation may be. And that's exactly what has happened with the work of the analyst office, creating this bombshell report that helps us understand fully the depth of what this issue is bringing or created for Harris County constituents. $80 million in lost revenue. And when I mean lost, it doesn't mean that we'll be able to collect it. Now that we know about it, it's lost. This is money that could have gone to improving our mobility, improving our roadways, improving our drainage, improving our community, supporting law enforcement, but that money is lost. And I want to also recognize yet again Director Trevino for his work in doing what he can from a toll road standpoint. The cameras that we're going through, we're actually bringing into the 21st century our toll road system is a huge step in the right direction. When we used to have toll operators, it would be very difficult to know who may have been going through with a false paper tag. But now with the fact that we are upgrading our toll system, he's just given us some indications of how quickly the system now works in regards to alerting law enforcement about the situations that are taking place as on our toll system as it relates to these paper tags. And I also want to thank my team. I want to thank my communications office as well as my press secretary for their phenomenal work on this, helping us really to bring this information forward, laying it at the hands of the analyst office and saying, here's what we think we have, here's what we're hearing from law enforcement, here's some evidence of what we think, and then this contemporary detective got to work. I'll refer to her as Katie Holmes. So with that being said, I'm proud to have led on this issue because as an old cop, and actually someone who grew up in the automotive industry, my father had a gas station. I was a mechanic in my early life. I always took pride in my intersection with the automotive industry. Having friends in the used car business, my best friend, my best man, used to run a used car lot. And sitting with him and remembering how he used to have cardboard tags that he guarded with his life. Because if he didn't, and they got away from him, and they were issued improperly, it could result in his license. And so I always remembered the diligence and the careful work that he took in ensuring that those tags did not get in the wrong hands. However, that's not the case today. And so as an old beat cop, I am proud that we have this report. It'll help us understand what more we need to go forward. This is a step in the right direction, and hopefully after a discussion today at Commissioner's Court, we'll understand what the next steps could be. But one of the things that we have found is that the state has actually defunded our task forces, our ability to continue to find the resources to stay on top of these issues. And so we hope that the legislature will take a look at this and create some corrective action because we need it sooner rather than later. And then from the standpoint of where we can go from here, I will just remain committed to ensuring that when we identify these issues, that we will work collectively as a county government to study, understand, and then take the necessary action to correct these issues that we identify. But the point that the judge made, a 306% increase over the 6 years of where paper tags have had a crime nexus, is just unconscionable. But now that we understand it, hopefully we will find a partner in the state to address it. We welcome the industry to work with us as we have worked with others to be better stewards of the people's public safety. And most importantly, ensuring that law enforcement doesn't have to work even harder than they're already doing to help solve crimes. So with that, I'm proud to have this report as evidence of the things that when we here at Commissioners Court hear issues that are being raised either by law enforcement or by community or by victims of crime, that we do take action. We do take these issues seriously, and we do work to find out what could be within our reach to affect. Buenos días, me da mucho gusto de estar aquí hablando de este reporte en cual la oficina de la directora Short y el trabajo del director Treviño han llevado a cabo. Este reporte nos llega a dar clara evidencia que las placas temporales han llegado a ser algo muy involucrado en dos aspectos: en la pérdida de fondos al condado y en los índices de criminalidad. Entonces, le doy todas las gracias a la directora por su trabajo y le doy las gracias al director Treviño también, porque en lo que él está haciendo para cambiar el sistema del toll road, nos está ayudando a realmente entender todo lo que está llevando a cabo, pero también con la nueva tecnología nos está dando la capacidad de poder responder rápido a esos índices de placas falsas que están pasando por el sistema y poder actuar rápido. Ya nos acaba de dar una información de un fugitivo que han arrestado de otro país por el trabajo que el director está llevando a cabo. Y mira, yo entiendo bien, siendo ex policía, pero todavía más policía que comisionado, cuando yo escucho estas cosas por parte de la comunidad, por parte de los elementos de seguridad pública, por parte de las víctimas de crimen, nosotros aquí en la Corte, junto con la jueza, siempre estamos escuchando y estamos viendo qué es lo que se tiene que hacer, y por eso este reporte nos llega a dar una indicación clara de lo que el gobierno estatal tiene que hacer para corregir lo que está pasando, porque 80 millones dentro de 6 años que esta comunidad ha perdido. Imagínate lo que se está perdiendo el estado de Texas en total. Dinero que realmente podía venir a ayudar a nuestras vecindades, podía venir a ayudar a nuestras carreteras, podía venir a ayudar a los elementos de seguridad pública. Pero ese dinero, los 80 millones de dólares, está completamente perdido. Pero con el liderazgo de la jueza estamos comprometidos a hacer todo posible para no pasar otros 6 años y llegar a perder más dinero. Entonces, ese es un trabajo que tenemos enfrente, pero me da gusto que este reporte nos llegue a saber claramente qué es lo que ha pasado y lo que podemos hacer para prevenirlo nuevamente. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. We'll take any questions.
¿A la juez decir algo en español?
Sí, adelante.
De Univisión le queremos preguntar, usted como jurista que aplica la ley, ¿qué vacíos legales está viendo en el estado de Texas que permiten que se puedan dar estas licencias falsas? Y también si puede también contestar, ¿quiénes son concretamente los responsables, los que se están beneficiando de dar licencias falsas? ¿Es alguna mafia? ¿Son criminales que actúan de forma individual, coordinada? Cuéntenos.
Yeah, I think it's a great question for both languages, which is what are the loopholes that still remain, and ultimately who's taking advantage of these paper tags? Is it organized crime or who is it? So let me give a brief answer. Or you know what? Why doesn't Director Trevino, you answer it first, and then I'll conclude in Spanish. Go ahead.
Well, I guess the benefit to a lot of car dealerships is they sell cars that maybe are not suitable for the roadway, which is a safety issue. Another benefit that could be is that people print out you used to do is print out the paper tags and just sell them at a fee with no vehicle attached, and then that individual would probably put it on another vehicle. So the benefit is to these characters in Harris County that are trying to financially benefit and creating these safety issues in Harris County.
And maybe you'll cover the loophole. Or I can mention, we were just talking about this earlier. So part of, the loophole that was closed is each dealer can now only print however many paper tags. So there's now a cap. That cap may still be too high, is something that needs to be evaluated. But there's nothing stopping that dealer from establishing himself or herself other dealerships, so to speak, even if it's on paper only, through which they can continue to print more tags. I don't know, and directors step in, that we're certain that particular types of crime organizations are the ones using this, but we see it across the board. So as we've noted, it's robberies. They found someone who was a fugitive through Interpol. There's been all kinds of, and as he said, vehicles that are not meeting the standards. So it's a venue for criminal elements to be able to get away undetected or with less detection. En español, brevemente, hay todavía vacíos legales. Un ejemplo es la cantidad de placas de papel, placas falsas que se pueden producir. La ley el año pasado estableció que solamente cada concesionario puede imprimir un cierto número de placas. Puede que ese número todavía sea muy alto, es lo que necesitamos evaluar, el Estado necesita evaluar, porque todavía hay muchísimas placas. Pero el tema es que no se limita cuántos concesionarios puede tener una persona. Entonces, una persona con malas intenciones podría establecer distintos concesionarios y a través de cada uno imprimir muchísimas más placas. Todavía falta entender exactamente si hay un elemento criminal específico que se está basando en este tema de las placas falsas. Lo que sí sabemos es que los robos hemos identificado que se han llevado a cabo con placas falsas. Hemos identificado recientemente inclusive un fugitivo buscado por la Interpol que lo arrestaron porque estaban investigando el tema de las placas falsas y esta persona iba conduciendo un automóvil con placas falsas. Y otros crímenes, ese es el incremento de 306% de los crímenes en el cual se ha encontrado una placa falsa. Es algo que, sea cual sea el crimen, pues facilita al elemento criminal de que salga desapercibido. ¿Respondes a su pregunta?
Sí, gracias.
Okay.
¿Por qué se tardaron 6 años en descubrir lo que estaba pasando cuando ya había reportes de que el carro que chocó y se dio la fuga tenía placas de cartón? El coche involucrado en un robo tenía placas de cartón. 6 años no cree que fue mucho.
Sí, sí. Esto ya vemos ahora el impacto de los últimos 6 años. Para nosotros, por mi parte, es algo que vengo escuchando ya desde que llegué aquí, hace 3 años, el comisionado García, sé que también, y dijimos, ¿sabe qué? No vamos a esperar a que el Estado solucione o no solucione este tema. Primero tenemos que investigar si lo que observamos realmente se ve reflejado en los números. A veces uno tiene una impresión, pero no sabe si sí o no realmente ha habido un incremento. Entonces lo que hicimos fue referirlo al analista del condado para que nos dijera ya con certidumbre y a cuál nivel es esto un problema, y ahora vemos que es un problema enorme y esperamos que eso indique al Estado que hay que tomar más acción. Ahora, el hecho de que el reporte lo recibimos hoy no significa que hemos estado con los brazos cruzados, porque desde hace ya un año prácticamente, o sea, acabamos básicamente de llegar nosotros al gobierno del condado, se lanzó este programa a través de nuestro departamento de autopistas, el cual tiene unas cámaras, identifica cuando pasa un automóvil con placa de papel y puede así detener e investigar si es una placa falsa, y es así, por ejemplo, que logramos arrestar este fugitivo. Y también hemos arrestado ya bastantes personas conectadas con crímenes.
We have time for one last
Um,
question.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, were you finished? Sorry.
Mhm.
What's the next steps here locally now that you have the results from this report and you know what the impact here is in Harris County? What's the plan here locally?
Locally, it's twofold, right? First is to continue to do the work that we've been doing. So we have the program that was launched last year. As I mentioned, we weren't just waiting for the report to take action. We needed to know the exact extent of the problem. It's important to define the problem before you can tackle it, but that doesn't mean that we were just sitting on our hands. We launched this program, which has had a positive impact already. And so the report had a few recommendations: increasing coordination between the toll road and the constables, increasing perhaps the efficiency of the program that already exists. We need to evaluate it. So we're going to follow up on the recommendations in the report and see if we can make our program and our relationships between law enforcement and our toll road authority more effective. Now, I don't want to raise false hopes. This is not an issue that we can solve entirely or even mostly locally, because we might be able to stop folks on the back end, but if these paper plates continue to be printed, it's a leaking bucket. And so that's why the strategy really is twofold: is we're going to do our part. We're not saying, we have nothing to do with this. We're going to do everything we can, and we're already doing that, and we're going to do more based on the report recommendations. But the second piece is advocacy, and that's why we're here today, is the community needs to be aware of this issue, and we need to continue putting pressure, highlighting this issue for our legislators, because they have a long agenda. There's many issues, and it's important for them to recognize that this is one that needs urgent attention for economic reasons and for safety reasons. And it's been addressed to an extent, but there's still more to be done, because some loopholes are still there. And so we need more legislation on this next year. Of course, a whole year without legislation, it's a problem. And in the meantime, that's why we're going to continue doing our work.
Okay, we've got to wrap it up.
All right.
Thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much.